Hello and welcome. My name is Nick Love with Love Racing, and here we're at Okayama International Circuit full course in the Formula Vee. This is week 11 of season 1 of the 2023 season. We're going to start like always with a full speed lap, and then we'll follow that up by a breakdown lap going over detailed braking points, turn-in points, and then some references for where the off-tracks are. We'll have the Ghost Lap available to download, so you can go ahead and click on the link in the description to go find that. Okay, as we head down the front straight to turn 1, we're going to go ahead and lift right by the blue cone. We're going to brake, downshift into third, carry that nice and tight. You're going to want to run over that bumper if you can, and you see all the track on the exit. Get right over to the right again, just a little bit of a lift, just to get a little bit of weight on the front tires, then back on throttle immediately. This is going to be a pretty straight section. You're just going to want to keep the steering wheel as straight as possible. Just imagine a straight line between here and your braking point in turn 4. That's kind of how you want to take that. Start braking at the 50 meter marker, downshift into third. We're going to double apex this, getting full throttle at the first apex. And then just nice and smoothly over to that second apex. And then we're going to keep this nice and tight. Just don't add any extra distance. Turn 4 is actually going to be the most important corner on this track because this straight is so long. So you should really focus on maximizing that and don't miss any ships down here. As we come up to turn 5, we're going to brake at the 50 meter marker. We're going to stay in third here. A little bit of trail braking, help to get the car rotate. Really be patient until we can get back on throttle. Don't get on throttle too early and compromise this next corner. You're going to get it over the right immediately, just a little bit of a lift and back on throttle. You can use a lot of that runoff on the right. Another lift, just wait for it and then back on throttle. Very little braking here in most of these corners. We can brake pretty late for turn 8. I'd say probably around the 25 meter marker. There's no sign, so it's kind of hard to be consistent here. With this string of corners, you have to be really patient on your throttle application. You don't want to get on throttle too early and compromise your entrance into the next corner. Okay, coming up to turn 10, it's going to be flat out. We're going to want to run over the bumper, cut as much distance as possible. It means a nice early turn in with a very little bit of steering angle. Going to have a big lift here, and we're going to turn in pretty early. We want an early apex because we can track all the way out and use all of this runoff without any 1Xs. Alright, that was our full speed lap. Now we're going to go ahead and do a detailed breakdown lap. Big things to think about for turn 1 is you're going to want to brake and downshift before you start turning in. You don't want the car to rotate on you. Our braking references are going to be on the right side of the track. There's a blue cone, and there's also the pit out lane, which is a little bit in front of that blue cone. We're going to brake somewhere in between there. If you're competent on the brakes, you can actually push that to the front into that pit lane. Okay, we're going to use a lot of this curb on entry. The end of the curbing on the right is going to be our reference point to when we should be back at full throttle. You can get on throttle just a little bit earlier than that. We're going to try to keep a relatively consistent steering angle here. If you see yourself turning more than 90 degrees, you're probably scrubbing off a lot of speed, so just keep an eye on that. We're going to keep that steering angle on exit. That's going to allow us to point to the right side of the track. Right at the end of the blue and white wall, we're going to start turning in a little bit. And what we want to do is give a nice gentle lift right as we get to that green curbing. This is going to allow us to put a little bit of weight right on the front tires, let us get a little bit of turn in, and then we can get back on throttle and run over the bumper on the inside. It's really important here just not to release the throttle all the way. As we're turning here, it's going to get the back end to rotate a little bit. You're going to hear the rear tires squealing a little bit, and that means you're scrubbing off speed. You're losing time. The big goal is just be smooth with your inputs. Okay, if we took that corner with enough speed, it should push us right out onto that bumper, and then we're just going to try to straight line this next section. If you can hear the front tires screeching at all through here, it probably means you're using too much steering angle. Our braking markers for turn 4 are going to be on the fence. We're going to be looking for the 50 meter marker. It may feel like you can brake a little bit later here, but because of the downhill braking zone, we're actually going to need to brake a little earlier. There's not any great turn-in markers here, but we're going to want to apex right here. It's okay to overslow a little bit because we really want to get a good exit. There's going to be a lot of dead grass right where the apex is. We're going to look at right in the middle of that as our point to get back on throttle. Make sure you're not really cranking the steering angle here. You don't want to scrub off any extra speed. Just keep it about 90 degrees and then slowly ease off as you go through the corner. As we head down the back straight, we're going to keep our eyes left. We're going to be looking for our braking markers for turn 5. We're going to start braking at the 50 meter marker. It's going to be a nice hard initial brake press. And you're going to kind of ease off, try a little bit of trail braking here as you slow down. It's going to help rotate the car. A lot of people here are going to overslow, and then they're going to feel like they're going through the hairpin pretty slowly, so they're going to want to shift into second. If you do that about this point, what's going to happen is the back end's going to lock up and you're going to spin. If you really wanted to get into second, wait until you get all the way to the apex and you're turned in the right direction, then ease into the second gear. If you find yourself ending up tracking all the way out here, you probably got on throttle a bit too early. If you find that the car's nose is pointed in this direction, or if you happen to use a lot of steering angle, you likely turned in too early. We're going to want to get as far track right as we can before turn 6. We're going to start turning in right around this dead grass on the right, and we're going to want to run both our left tires right over the apex curbing. The track limits at the exit of turn 6 are actually really forgiving. You can put your car with 2 tires in the dirt without getting a 1X. This really helps us prepare for turn 7's entry. We want to use all of the entry bumper for turn 7. We'll start turning in right before the end of the bumper. We're not going to brake for turn 7, we're going to lift right as we turn in, and then we're going to be patient as we approach the apex, and we feel pretty confident we're going to be able to get back on the throttle, we will. There is a little bit of runoff, so we can actually get on throttle just a little bit before the apex, and we can use that if we need. Coming up to turn 8, we have the braking markers on the fence on the right at about 50 meter intervals. We're going to use the 25 meter, and we're going to have to kind of guesstimate that. What I end up seeing a lot of people do at turn 8 is they get on the brakes hard, and then they turn the steering wheel at the same time, and what ends up happening is they push wide and they miss the apex. What you want to do is get on the brakes hard, the steering wheel straight, and then as you ease off the brakes, you start easing back on the steering angle. One of the big things you'll notice about some of the fast drivers is they're very consistent in their steering angle throughout a corner. So if we look here at the beginning of this corner, we've turned in as we get on throttle at the apex, all the way to track out, and then we're going to keep that steering angle to drag us all the way to the left side of the track to prepare for the next corner. Because of the quick transition from left corner to right corner, we might not be able to get all the way to the left side of the track. That's fine here. You'll see here I'm starting to turn in and I'm still full throttle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn in, then I'm going to lift, and what that's going to do is it's going to help me rotate the rear of the car a little bit, get me to turn in better. We want to try to use some of this curbing on the right, and we want to be back to full throttle before the end of this curbing. Okay, now as we head to turn 10, you might think this is a flat out corner, this is easy, you don't really need to practice it, but what you want to do is you want to have a nice early turn in with very little steering angle and make the minimum amount of distance. That's going to save you maybe a tenth here. The instant I see the curbing, I give it about 10 degrees of steering angle, and I aim to put my right tires fully over that bumper. Make sure you don't go over the edge, as it's pretty rough. Heading towards the last corner, I like to give it just a dab of braking input, get the car settled a little bit before I turn in here. You can get away with just lifting here, but it's just a really important corner on this track with the long straight, so you really want to make sure you can hit that apex and get back to full throttle. So that was 2 full laps with the Formula Vee at Okayama International Circuit. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Give me some comments on where you're gaining time, where you're losing time. Also, I'm going to start offering some coaching services for the Formula Vee and some of the other rookie cars, so if you have any interest in that, there'll be a link in the bio. Hope to see you guys out there this week.